The long shadow was cast when the lights flickered across the small control room. Shadows danced as alerts sounded, and the lifeless, icy voice of the automated defense system echoed. Drones activated. Sector 9 was flagged for hostile engagement. For months, the outpost had been silent, tucked away in a neglected region of the galaxy. Captain Elias Ward knew the galaxy had been too quiet. He believed something would inevitably break that silence, and now it had multiple energy signatures. Lit up the display. Lieutenant Markin called out quickly, her hands flying across the console, her voice tinted with urgency. Dozens of red blips surged across the strategic display, their velocity confirming one truth: this was not a patrol. It was a hunt. Ward narrowed his eyes. This is a hunt, not a raid, he muttered. Adjusting his posture, he let the command weight settle on his shoulders. They were outnumbered and alone, facing an adversary infamous for eradicating entire civilizations. But if Ward knew one thing, it was that despair could sharpen resolve like the edge of a blade. Alert the squad, he ordered. Every soldier in position. Armed and ready. Sir, Mara hesitated, looking at Ward's scarred face. We're almost unprepared for this. Reinforcements. If they even come, they're days out. Ward's eyes turned to steel. Then we fight like we're the last ones left, because we might be. A grim smile tugged at his lips. The Zyrex didn't yet realize they had marched. Straight into a trap, the outpost corridors hummed with energy as troops rushed to battle stations. Mara dropped into a defensive stance beside Ward, checking her rifle. You have a plan? She asked. Ward's voice was low. The Zyrex believe they're apex predators. They rely on speed and brute force. But they're predictable. We'll make them pay for their arrogance. Tension thickened the air as the final seconds ticked away. Outside, in the frozen void, Zyrex ships broke through the perimeter. Bristling with weaponry, they came to hunt. They lived for the kill, expecting another easy slaughter. They were wrong. Ward gave the signal. Shields dipped briefly, drawing the Zyrex in. At that same moment, concealed turrets erupted from the ground, unleashing a torrent of firepower. Plasma bolts streaked across the void. Cutting down the first wave, a Zyrex fighter let out a shriek before spiraling into debris. They're scattering. To regroup, Mara observed. Ward nodded. They'll adapt fast. Focus fire. Prepare the ion cannons. Take out their command ship, cut off the head, the body dies. Explosions rocked the outpost. Sparks fell from the ceiling. Ward remained still, his mind calculating every move. Sir, 70% of us are sustaining heavy damage, Mara reported. Ward's eyes stayed locked on the screen. We won't make it unless we bring them down now. The command ship loomed ahead, a hulking predator surrounded by escorts. It was the heart of the swarm. Destroy it, and the Zyrex would lose cohesion. Just as they prepared the final blow, another alarm blared. More Zyrex forces were inbound. More of them, Mara muttered, clutching her weapon. We're out of time. Then let's make every second count, Ward replied grimly. Outside, ion cannons charged. Humanity's last stand would hinge on this strike. The hum of collapsing shields reverberated through the room, a haunting reminder of time slipping away. Captain, Mara's voice cut through the tension. We can't hold out much longer. Ward's gaze stayed firm. Outside, the Zyrex swarmed like a living wave. They probed for weaknesses, adapting with terrifying speed. They think we're cornered, he said. It's time to switch roles. Sir, we take the fight to them. We've played defense long enough. Time to strike from unexpected angles. Mara led a small strike team through the dim, flickering corridors. The air was thick with ozone and the scent of burned electronics. A distant explosion deepened the knot in her stomach. Whispers echoed as the team reached the breach site. Claws scraped. Guttural hisses grew louder. A Zyrex hunting pack approached. The plan was simple but deadly: lure them into a kill zone. The creatures neared. Snarling and confident, Mara held steady. Ward's voice came over coms. Now! Mara's team unleashed a storm of gunfire. The Zyrex shrieked and surged, but met not just bullets. Explosives hidden in the walls detonated, tearing through the packed chaos. Half the Zyrex were annihilated. Fall back! Mara ordered, guiding her squad through smoke-choked corridors, the remaining enemies pursued, furious and frantic. But it was Ward's trap. Another ambush. More detonations. The alien onslaught was caught again in a vortex of debris, confusion, and fire. In the aftermath, Mara leaned against the wall, breath ragged, adrenaline still coursing. "We wiped them," she reported, "but more will come. This won't save us forever," Ward's voice returned steady. "We've bought time." "That's a win. What now, Captain? We bleed them, wave by wave. We hit where it hurts. We survive not just for us, but so they remember humanity was never prey." The tension crackled as more Xerix approached. Mara's team regrouped. Outside, the void was darker, heavier. Captain Ward studied the latest intel. The Xyrix hive structure glowed faintly, distant but drawing closer. Behind the fatigue on the crew's faces was something new, resolve. "They're testing us," Ward said, eyes narrowing. "After what we did to their scouts, they're anxious now, and that's our edge." End of transmission. "Mara?" Bard stated in a forceful yet hushed voice. She tightened her jaw and nodded. "Then it's time. We can't attack them before they regroup. We can't afford to allow them to gain traction." Ward squinted, following the enemy's predicted path. "We must attack their center and remove the Queen. Without her, they'll disintegrate. No coordination, no goal. But reaching her means going through their heart. They'll throw everything they have in that region." They all understood how serious the mission was. The atmosphere felt heavy with tension, but there was no hesitation. Survival was no longer enough. Humanity had to make a statement. They would show the galaxy, those who didn't hunt humanity, that humans were a force to be reckoned with. The mission briefing was swift. Every detail carefully thought out. Mara led the strike group once again, but this time they carried more than weapons. They carried the hopes of everyone. They moved quickly, leaving the outpost behind, down the chilly, shadowy hallways toward the launch bay, a feeling of finality in the air. "Stay focused." "Settle over them," Mara whispered. "Don't give them another chance. We endure, through everything they throw at us." The team loaded into the sleek dropship. The turbines hummed. Silence throbbed beneath their feet like tension before a storm. Outside, in the void of space, the Xyrix colony loomed large and indifferent, the stage for a deadly dance about to begin. Mara's heart thudded in her chest, but her mind stayed sharp, calculating every possible outcome. The dropship broke through the outer wall. Dozens of Xyrix fighters began to stir. The hive responded immediately, alerts blaring, shields flaring. "Hold steady," Mara growled, clutching her harness as the ship dodged incoming fire. But the real danger began once they landed. The hive was alive. Its walls pulsed with a sickly organic glow. A bitter, metallic scent filled the air, decay mixed with Xerix pheromones. They swarmed, claws clashed with gunfire. Screams echoed down tight corridors. The deeper they went, the more chaotic it became, until the hive itself seemed to shudder with awareness. But Mara and her team pressed forward toward the Queen, a grotesque creature, nested in the hive's heart, controlling the swarm with a psychic grasp, eyes on the prize. Mara shouted as they entered the chamber. The Queen's gaze met theirs, intelligent, alien, hostile. Then chaos exploded. The acidic walls shook with detonations. Blood and armor hissed under the corrosive environment. Xyrix roars filled the room, but it was Ward's strategy that turned the tide. From orbit, a precise strike was launched, a beam of light piercing through the ceiling. The Queen was obliterated in a blinding blast. Her body fell, twisted, lifeless. The hive trembled, destabilized without its core. There was no time to celebrate. "Get out now," Mara shouted. The team sprinted, the hive collapsing behind them. Just in time, the dropship tore free of the imploding structure. Back at the outpost, Ward watched the destruction unfold. The hive was gone. The Xyrix fleet, now leaderless, began to scatter. It was a victory, but only for the moment, everyone knew. The galaxy would soon find out what a cornered species could do. Silence fell over the outpost, the kind of silence that follows devastation, Captain Ward stood at the observation deck, eyes locked on the stars. Somewhere out there, the Xyrix fleet was regrouping. He clenched his jaw. "It won't stay disorganized for long," he murmured. Mara entered, armor scorched and scratched. Fatigue in her step, fire in her eyes. "How's the team?" Ward asked. "We're recovering, shaken, but ready," she replied. "We can't let them reassemble. If they restore the Queen's control..." Ward nodded. "Then we hit them hard. Now, throw everything we have. We either break their back, or we're done. They won't risk another loss like this." It was desperate but deliberate. The plan was simple: draw the Xyrix fleet into a final trap. Every missile, every turret, every drone dash ready. As Mara stood watching the stars, she whispered, "We've always been underestimated. Predators think humans are prey. Until we bite back." The Xyrix fleet arrived, a dark swarm against the backdrop of starlight, outpost defenses activated. A storm of firepower was launched, but the Xyrix had changed. They moved with terrifying coordination, suggesting a new directive. The trap was sprung, but the question remained, would it be enough? Inside the command center, the ship rocked with impacts. Mara scanned the tactical displays. "Now," she ordered. The human fleet began a staged retreat, drawing the Xyrix deeper into the kill zone. For a moment it seemed the plan would fail. The Xyrix paused. Then surged forward. "Everything," Ward commanded. The sky erupted. A synchronized assault tore through the Xyrix formation. Ship after ship was destroyed. The swarm disintegrated. Victory seemed close until a new signal appeared. The Xyrix flagship, massive, terrifying, unlike anything they had seen. It launched its primary weapon. Ward and Mara locked eyes, knowing this could be the end, but they didn't hesitate. Fire the last resort. An experimental weapon, high risk, untested. A piercing lance of energy